Once the children of Israel agreed to be God's covenant people, they were instructed to build a house for him to dwell in, the tabernacle. Now, why would the God of the universe, the creator of heaven and earth, choose to limit himself to a particular place to meet with a particular people? Well, it was all for his plan to benefit the world. First, though, God had to meet with his people in the tabernacle, and it would be from a place of love and mercy. So welcome to this week's Shabbat Shalom devotional, when I seek to share just a little inspiration and bring a little peace to the close of your very busy week. This week's Torah portion is from Exodus 25 through 27, verse 19. It's called terumah, which means gifts or offering. Last week, God gave all the rules and the people agreed to obey them. So this week, the first thing God tells Moses to do is to take up an offering, gather their gifts. They needed to build the tabernacle, and the people were to give freely of whatever they had. Well, much of what they had been given to them by the Egyptians. So there was an important lesson here for them to realize that what they had really wasn't theirs to start with. It belonged to God. He had blessed them with it, and now he was asking them to give out of their blessing. And of course, he would bless them for it. So they gave freely to Moses, so much so that it says he had more than he needed. This verse always gets my attention because I'm always praying for the offerings of the people to provide for the work of the ministry that we've been called to do. And what an encouragement here to know that when the people obeyed God, that there was more than Moses needed to finish the task. So now God had given Moses very, very specific instructions how to build the tabernacle and every single item inside of it. I'm just going to talk today about the Ark of the Covenant. He was to make an ark, kind of a cabinet, a box, and it was to be overlaid with gold, and he was to attach poles to both sides of it so that it could be carried. And the poles were to be permanent, so that at any moment that ark could be picked up and carried with the people as they followed God. And on top of the ark was to be placed what was called a mercy seat. It was to have a cherub at each end of it, and the cherubs were to have their wings in front of them, and they were to be facing each other. So in between the two cherubs was this seat of mercy. And inside the ark, underneath the seat of mercy, was to be stored the tablets of stone with the commandments on them. It was the tablets of the covenant of God with his people. The covenant has been likened to a marriage between God and his people. And so he wants that covenant to be in safety there in the box, but he was going to meet with his people in remembrance of that covenant, but from a place of mercy. He was not going to meet with them from a seat of judgment and condemnation because he knew they were going to break the terms of the covenant. No, he was going to meet with them from the seat of mercy. In between two loving cherubs, it was a place of love and mercy, showing how that God's grace and his mercy and his love covered the covenant stored below. Now, isn't that beautiful? I hope that this weekend, as you take a Shabbat break, you'll think about that God wants to meet with you from a place of love and mercy. Shabbat Shalom.